Hello, I'm Julia Cordova, and welcome to the Place Your Trades Network. We are the network that focuses on trading daily options using CME Group's event contracts to trade E-mini S&P, Nasdaq, Dow, Russell 2000, gold, silver, euro, crude oil, natural gas, copper, and Bitcoin. Today, I have a great show for you. I have got Leah the trader with me, and we're going to talk about trading psychology. We're going to talk about how to get your mind right to get your trading right. So important, and hardly anybody ever talks about this. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Tradeovate, which has built a custom app dedicated to trading those CME Group event contracts, and that's what we're all using at Place Your Trades. So I'm going to start off today just by giving you sort of a 3-minute rundown of the market, but first, I'm going to show you my screen here. I have got the Place Your Trades website up right now, and this is the dashboard. So this is something that I have now incorporated into my everyday routine in the morning. Why? Because it's got awesome stuff on there. So first of all, there's the live streams. Hello. Very important, obviously, especially on Mondays. No, every day. And then we've got some pre-market on here. So if you don't have time to figure out, watch all the news, go to all the websites, it's like a really nice summary of just what is going on. And it's really quick. It's written by Chai Girl. Who wouldn't want to read that? Hello. And then there's also the statistics. So what you can do here is you can come and you can look at metals, copper, gold, silver, HG, GC, SI, and you can see the opening price, and then you can see the quant stats probability of closing above the open. When is the open? Depends on for the particular commodity that you're trading, but these are pretty good odds, especially above 55% in particular, and then a profit factor over 1.3. That's when I start looking at. So when I look through all of these statistics, I look for over 55%, and I look for a profit factor over 1.3. That means to me that it's got a very high probability. So then I look at my own stuff and I figure it out from there. So like for now, you can see copper is 58.95, not too shabby. Let's look at energy. So with oil, 50-50 on Natty. I think 50-50 on Natty is great odds because Natty is so natty. And then you've got crude oil at 53%. Now, as far as the indices go, RTY is 60% today. That's pretty freaking high with a 1.59 profit factor. But if I look at the chart, we are right below that RTY 1850 level, which is the 20 DMA. That's an area to be wary of. If we can get above there, yay. If we can't, nay. Know what I'm saying? And then as far as ES goes, I am watching 4380. 4380 for me is today and this week, actually. It's like a major level of support. I'm okay with the market above 4380, not okay below 4380. All right, and let me just take a look at the Tradeovate app here. So you can see here just a live shot of all of the indices where they are right now. You can see crude is pretty much flat. We're pretty much flat on ES, still above that 4380 though, barely. But you can see we just sort of chopped around so far this morning. And you can just get an overview of what's going on. And then if you wanted to take a trade, you can select any of those strikes. And so, for example, on silver, yay silver, you could buy the yeses for today and see how that yes, it will close above, or no, it will not close above if you think they're going to pin it somewhere. For me, silver on the hourly looks like it's making a megaphone on a stick. You can draw a megaphone in there if you want on your hourly chart. That's what I done on mine, and you can try to guesstimate where it might close at pit close at, I think 130 is when silver, about 125 I think is when silver closes. All right, now that's out of the way, let me go ahead and bring on Leah. Hi, Leah.
Hi, Julia. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I read your thread about trading psychology, and that really hits home with me because I'm somebody who my whole adult life has actually struggled with depression and, like various other mental problems, right? And I mean, I'm not shy about saying it. It's something that I think a lot of people experience. I'm certainly, it's certainly treatable, but anyway, I feel strongly that in order to trade effectively, you have to have your mind in a good place. If you're feeling desperate, you're going to trade desperate, and that is not going to be a successful, it never works out. If you're feeling like, okay, I'm just going to put it all on whatever, that is not the way to become a professional trader. It's not the way to win consistently. So when I read your thread, I was like, oh no, I need to get Leo on show right away. So we can all just, take a breath and figure out, from a psychological perspective, how we can all get ourselves in the right frame of mind and then keep ourselves there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You and I haven't talked before. Can you tell me just a little bit about your background, like, how you became a trader, how you became interested in trading?
Yeah, so I used to work as a marriage counselor and relationship coach for 10 years. And in
Wow.
COVID, that's why the psychology background. And I studied psychology and pre-medical, and then I did master's at Columbia that was focusing on mediation and negotiation. So it's very psychological, but it was more oriented with business. And then in COVID, I became a trader. And, since I was having this psychology background, I realized very, very early when I started trading how important it is to actually know yourself and manage your emotions around trading, because everything else you can learn, but the mental state and emotions are so difficult. And a lot of traders actually fail because of that.
Yeah. I'm sure. I mean, I know you're supposed to trade like a robot, and everybody says that, but it's different when you're actually pushing the buttons, right? It's different to have, to try and keep your emotions in check and to try and follow your rules no matter what. And that's really important from my perspective, is just keeping those rules and following through on them.
Yeah, they say you should trade like robot, but it's impossible because we are humans.
Right.
We cannot be without emotions. But what I always tell people to do is to have rules, as you said, and try to use the emotions to your advantage. And I always come up with some ideas how to do it. And the same thing was in relationships. It's very similar if you think about it, because in trading is like life. We want to not be reactive in the relationship to make things worse and be able to negotiate.
Yeah, so that's actually your first slide. Let's go ahead and bring up your slides.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so 8 trading psychology principles.
Yes.
And that will help you increase profit and minimize risk. All right, let's go ahead and go to the first slide here.
Yeah, people don't like reality. What do I mean with this is that people do not like to look into themselves and do deep work, because it's scary. It's scary to look at your weaknesses and actually understand, I suck in this, because a lot of people can't handle it. But without knowing yourself and knowing what you suck in and what you're good at, you won't be able to succeed as a trader. So I think
it's so funny.
important.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that. It's so funny you say that, because it's true. When I first started trading, I don't think I ever got to know myself faster, to know all of my weaknesses, also my strengths, but more my weaknesses, keeping it 100. Like if you tend to be somebody who is very measured person, or if you tend to be somebody who is not, and who, if also, I personally, I'm like that person that likes the people, what is it? The underdogs. Like I like to cheer on things that are not necessarily the most cheered on things. And that's a contrarian, right? But there's a difference between trading contrarian and trading things that are weak and not good, right?
Yes.
So you have to sort of separate those out. But yeah, that was definitely one of my first things, is like, I'm getting to know myself on a whole new level. Not sure I like myself right now, but trying to figure out how then to address those issues, maybe not solve them, but like you said, take your issues and make them work for you versus against you.
Yeah, for me, it's impatience. So we all have something, you know. I'm impatient in real life. I'm such a pain sometimes to myself and people around me. So in trading, the same thing, because you're cutting yourselves on your profit. So I know I have to work on my patience. And once you know what you have to work on, you can actually do it and become a better trader.
Okay. So let's go to the next slide then.
Yes. That is like, this one is very important. Limit how much you're willing to lose. So I think that, like with everything in life, in trading, we can traumatize ourselves. You know, if people don't have the max pain or max loss established and they just lose thousands of dollars at the beginning, a lot of them just stop trading immediately because they traumatize themselves. So I think this is a very important rule to have.
Got you. Okay. And are you talking about like on a per day basis, or are you talking about overall in your account, or like
on a trade? You know, like our system, like for example, I don't think people should risk more than 1 to 2% of their account. It doesn't have to be as much. If people have bigger accounts, they might not feel comfortable risking $5,000 on a trade, right? Which would be maybe 2% of their account. But I think at max, it should not be more than 2% on a trade. And that's like my rule. Because for people that are starting, losing $50 is sad. $100 is worse, but losing $1,000 might really suck. And some people, you know how it was in 2020, 21, people would just YOLO all their money into trades and then lose $10,000s of dollars. And they never go back to trading. And even worse, they never go back to the markets. And that's really bad for your financial state and wealth. So.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. This is a favorite one I have. Trading is like life. I really think that in trading and life, we should focus what is in front of our eyes and the facts, like what is in the moment. And what I'm talking about is price action. People spend so much time predicting the market, what's going to be tomorrow, instead of actually looking at the levels and seeing how the price is moving. And I think that it would be just really helpful for psychology as well, and not being biased, because a lot of people have expectations, which is a bias. And then they can't trade properly because they have strong bias and are inflexible to change. And market is so dynamic. We have to be changing all the time.
Right.
So yeah, it's like life. You know, a lot of times people are worrying about things that might happen at some future time, but it's not happening right now. But we spend so many hours being worried about what might and could have happened. And it's just waste of energy, I think.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. Put your ego aside. I mean, we both know this really well, how it is with people that have strong of an ego, how they end up right in the markets. And I think that market will be smarter than any of us.
The market is always smarter, other than the people who, you know, say they did things after the fact. It's like, dude, if you knew that. Anyway, I think sometimes a lot of people project, especially some gurus, they project the image of having always won everything. And I think it's like social media for teenagers almost, that creates an unrealistic image in your mind of how it actually is to be a professional trader. Because the reality is there is absolutely nothing wrong with taking a loss. In fact, it's normal. What's not normal is not taking a loss quickly. That's bad. But as far as like being wrong about something, couldn't care less. I mean, of course, if I'm sharing it with people, I feel badly if other people might have taken something with me and they lose. I do feel badly about that. Of course I do. But I mean, the idea is more for me to be consistent rather than to be right. So, I mean, I'd rather be mostly right and consistent than, you know, just say I'm right. Oh, I'm going to be right. I'm going to be right. You know, like some people call for like a correction, and then it keeps going up, 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 up. And then the first little thing they say, oh, I was right the whole time. It's like,
I know, yeah. 100 points
No.
later, I know.
Yeah,
And that's like you don't want to be right, you want to be making money. And it's fine to lose 1 hour or one risk unit in my case, and then make 3, 4 on other trades, But if people just have no stop losses and they want to be right and they're still hoping that the market will correct the mistake for them, it's not going to end up any good. So yeah, I think ego is not your friend when trading. And some people can't be wrong. Like they would fight in real life as well just to be right. And it doesn't work in trading. You will be wrong, and people need to get used to it when they want to trade.
I let that just go right over me. I don't even pay attention. I'm like, all right, you're right. I don't care. You be right. I'll be money. You fine.
Next one. That's what I always say. If I lose, I'm like, okay, next one.
Yeah, next. Like with relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just
teasing. Spend too much time on that.
Yeah, right. Okay.
All right. Oops. This one, 5. Trade what makes sense for your worries, portfolio and personality. People oftentimes follow everyone on Twitter or anywhere, but I think it's very important to find your mentor and find someone who trades the style that you want to trade or can trade. Because a lot of times, if you want to follow someone who's running a hedge fund, they're trading with much bigger money than you are or we are, and anyone. Or if you want to follow someone who has a small account and is just scalping options, it might not work for your account or personality. So that I always tell people, it's okay to fish for ideas, but make sure that this idea actually fits your trading style and your portfolio. Because if not, you're going to be sitting there and you're not going to understand why I am taking this trade. Like, you need to know why I'm taking this trade. Is it fitting my, the way I trade? Like, I can't, for example, scalp options. I freak out. I get panic. It doesn't work for me. And when I started trading years ago, I would be following people and, just buying calls and not understanding at all why I'm buying them. And they would all go to zero. And I was losing every day $100, $200, $300 until the point I said, no, I can't trade this. But, it's better to do it without losing the money and actually understanding. So
that's a really good point, because there's so many different time frames that people look at, and other people have different risk tolerances. And, some people are better swing traders versus scalpers. Like, I know some people that will take 5 points in ES and that's their day. And for me, by the time I hit market, sell or buy, that might be 5 points. I don't even, you know what I mean? So for me, I'm somebody who uses the micro contracts to scale in. If I'm not sure about something, I will scale into it and know where I'm going to add ahead of time, usually. But yeah, it's important to know also your own personality, but also you get to know other people on Twitter. You get to know what their style is before you follow what they do, or if you decide to follow what they do. It's important to know how they trade.
Yeah, and then again, the patience come in play, like research before you do. I'm a person, I learned with just doing things, but with the market, it doesn't work that way, because you really lose money. And, you don't want to be practicing so much that you lose all your money. So I think it's good to do some research, really. And as you said, like with the scalping options, when someone sends a signal to buy option scalp, I don't even open the option chain. They're already out of the trade. So that doesn't work at all. I trade mostly shares, but yeah. So to each their own, I guess.
I'm with you on that one.
Trade in balanced mental state. This one is interesting because I always say don't trade when you're sad. Something happens in your life that you're processing. A lot of times people would trade because they want to forget the world around and they're going through some hard time. I don't think it's a good approach, because our emotions are totally, not balanced. We are sad. We might be too depressed. And also in the other way, if we are too happy, because if we have too much serotonin, we are too happy, we are too joyful, we might be too optimistic about the market as well. I know this probably doesn't happen as often as being depressed and down. Like, I don't know, like that I would meet too many people that tell me, oh my God, I'm so happy, I can't even take it. But you know, sometimes there are those moments that we had a really good day or night, or you know, something great happened. So I think it's good to be balanced when you trade, because then we are making more rational decisions, not too manic.
Yeah, no, I agree. Whenever I'm feeling a little off or whatnot, if I trade at all, I definitely trade in reduced scales, just because, the reality is you're not going to be yourself. You're
Yeah.
not going to be your best version of your mental self every single day. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, I'm feeling off today. Something feels wrong. I'm not going to trade,
And
unless
that's smart. That's very
right,
smart. Yeah.
right. Yeah, right. I mean, getting more particular about, because you're not going to maybe be as reactive. So getting more particular about the trades that you take.
Or when you're tired, like me, for example, if I sleep less than 6.5 hours, I'm so slow with my reactions. My ADHD kicks in, I can't focus, and I always lose money. I'm going to my trading office and I sit down and I say, I'm so tired, I'm going to lose money. Yet, sometimes I don't stop myself from trading. So I'm not doing it anymore, but I used to. It was almost like, I'm miserable, let me make myself even more miserable and lose some money. So I think people should really not trade in those days, because it makes you feel much worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Yay. Everyone talks about the plan, right? And I mean, it's very broad to have a plan. What is the plan actually? I think,
yeah. When people used to say that and I was a new trader, I'm like, my plan is to make money.
Yeah.
Hello, like, what other plan would I possibly need? I didn't really understand what a plan was.
Yeah. And like I just said, an example today, I traded Soxl, SOXL. And I'm in Slovakia. I have a little setup here. I'm not really with my proper setup. And I was just really late to the trade. So I took a tiny scalp with like half size of my risk unit, just a quick scalp. And I would get out because I didn't feel it. And why? Because I didn't really have a plan. I knew that stock is going to break out, which did. But the plan would be, where do I want to get in? Where do I want to get out? Where is my stop loss? So it was just like a really quick scalp that I do not like doing. But that's exactly what means to have a plan. And it's fine to do it once in a blue moon when you really see a strong breakout and just hop on with bigger amount of shares, or just stay there literally 50 cents. But it can go the other way as well. And if people keep doing this all the time without having a plan, that can really ruin their portfolio and their account. So I think really before the trade, say, okay, if this stock retests here, I'm going to get in around this level, and that's where I'm getting out, and this is my stop loss. And then also validate why, to know why I want to get in, because it's a Fibonacci retracement, it's an opening range breakout, retest, or just to know these strategies. I think it's very important. And before people know these strategies, they shouldn't day trade. That's my opinion.
I agree with you. I think the most common DM I get is people saying, Julie, please help me. I am in this losing trade. I don't know what to do. I'm down whatever percent. And, can you send me a chart? As if the chart is going to help at that point. So I always ask, I'm like, well, so what was your plan when you got in?
Yeah.
And then it's like crickets.
No plan.
No plan, right? Yeah. And then the next step is, well, okay, is this something that you would enter today? And I go through that, but also, I mean, when you're taking a loss, if you don't have a plan, it's psychologically difficult to do that. So sometimes it helps people take a loss if they have a plan to get back in. So if they're in that FOMO mood, it's going down, but eventually it's going to go back. Okay. So if it goes up, where is what you think it will continue, the McSqueezy level? Where is that? Okay. If you know where that is. Now, where is whereas a lower place you could re-enter if you really wanted to, if you take this class, okay, you got that, and then work our way from there. But the most important part is if you won't have to do any of that, and it won't be so difficult if you just have a plan going in.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Me personally, I get over a loss that was planned, and I had a plan and the trade went against me much easier. That's the one I say, okay, next one, in opposed to taking a loss because I just FOMO'd into a trade without even like looking at the chart, which doesn't happen too often anymore because I've been trading daily for 3.5 years and I learned my lessons.
Yes.
But that would really make me feel dumb. Like, what did I do? And then I'm beating myself up because I made a mistake. I didn't follow my rules. So I think psychologically it's much easier to get over planned loss than unplanned. Yeah.
I agree.
And what's the last one? Oh yeah, patient. We talked about it. Truly, patience brings money in this case. The roses, but money, and then you can buy the roses too. But yeah, that's the worst one for me. I'm very impatient, and sometimes, I just want to trade for sake of trading, and I'm getting better with that. Of course, I think even if I would be trading 20 years, I will still have some flaws to fix because I don't think we will be ever perfect as traders. But yeah, just not seeing a setup like today, the beginning of the day, maybe there was some little reversal we could take, quick trade on tech. Like I was looking at some stocks like MDB and Microsoft, there was surely a potential of a quick scalp trade, but now we're chopping. So I'm just like, okay, well, let me call it a day because I always tell people we have life to live. And instead of staring at the screen and the choppy market, hoping to make some money, I much rather go outside and enjoy my life because time flies, and I always tell people, okay, you make $50 a day, we're sitting there for 8 hours, then you're working for how much, just count that. And I think as professional traders, we have to know when the market is favorable and when it's not. And sure, sometimes the market is choppy for 4 or 5 hours and then it suddenly changes and you have a rally. Sure, it happens, but I don't care at this point because I'm having a great day. I'm in the gym, I'm taking care of my body, I spend time with my parents, you name it, and that's all about the patience and not pressures. You said you don't want to trade desperate, you don't want to trade under pressure. And we trade because we want to make money and we want to use the money to enjoy our life. So that should be part of our plan too.
Yeah. If you have a particular setup or a particular level that you're looking for and it's just not there, why are you wasting your time and in front of the computer? I agree. I sometimes I go read, I go do other stuff because I'll overtrade. If I'm looking too closely at something, I will overtrade it, especially if I'm just scalping. If I know what I'm doing, I put it in, I'm fine with it. I get a little alert on my phone if something happened, and then that's it.
Yes.
But it's hard to do it. It's hard to do. And also I will say that, screen time is important, but not necessarily to take trades constantly, just to understand how price action works. So it's a little bit different. I mean, after a while, it's like sometimes after you know what you're looking for, screen time is not as important as it once was.
Yes, I agree with you. I like to sell options. So sometimes, there's choppy day. Maybe I can do something with options. If there is implied volatility is higher, there's like a lot of insecurity in the market. So that there are ways we can trade, of course, but everything with balance, just not, as you said, not over trade and enjoy your life and be patient to wait for the perfect setup.
I can't believe I'm sorry. I'm still thinking in my ADD mind. I'm like, she was a marriage counselor.
Yeah. That's a long time.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And, honestly, it taught me so much about coaching. And now I'm helping people with trading. And it's so similar. Like a lot of the theories that I learned for helping people around marriages and relationships and sexuality, I apply in trading because it's all psychology. It's not like a rocket science different.
It is psychology. Sometimes I look at the candles and I try to figure out the
Mm-hmm.
what the algos are trying to do to hurt the most people. And
Yeah.
luckily, my brain thinks just like a retail trader because I am. So I'm like, oh, how would I fall for this? Oh, they would have got me good there. I always think about how they're trying to trick me in some way.
They
But
do, yeah. There are a lot of trap traders, a lot of trap bears and bulls, and that's what the candles are telling us. The candles are telling us the story. So it's quite interesting to observe. And as you said, the screen time, I spend so much time just back testing. And on the weekends, I love looking at the charts and see what happened where and understand. There's never enough, but
you know,
it's fun. You can always learn.
I will say too, from a psychological perspective, what helps me is looking at the charts when there's no trading going on. I
Mm-hmm.
I love I know most people probably have more restful Saturdays than I do, but like on a Saturday when I have no active trade going on at that very second, I might be in a swing trade, sure. But I
Yeah.
find that my emotions are less and then I can chart better when something is not actively moving up and down and I don't have an active, you know, psychological aspect to that. So I like to wait until the weekends to chart. I just think it's better for me personally. But
Oh,
yeah.
definitely. I do it on Sundays. I usually take Saturday off and I'm like just reading a book, go to the beach, do something completely different than trading. And then
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon is like 3, 4 hours. I just look at the market, I look at all the stocks, I look at my portfolios and kind of make the rough plan for next week. So yeah, definitely. It's much better because otherwise there's always the stimulation and the dopamine and you're like, okay, what could I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Leah, I enjoyed our conversation so much. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on. I appreciate it. I learned a lot. I think this is important just every once in a while to make sure. I was telling some people this morning, like, sometimes you read things on Twitter and they're like kind of hallmarky and they're like, don't do this. But I think, somebody like yourself, I think you're very sincere in offering this advice. And I feel like when I read it, I believe it, I see it, and it helps me center myself again. So
Oh,
thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
thank you so much for your kind words. And yeah, I appreciate that you invited me here. It was so fun to talk to you.
Oh, yay. Okay. So everybody follow at Leah the Trader on Twitter. Follow me if you want Cordoba Trades. Also follow Place Your Trades and, download this dashboard that I talked about before. It really is freaking awesome. So if you sign up for the Place Your Trade stuff, you'll be able to access it every morning for free. And I think it's helpful no matter what you trade. But all right, everybody, take care. Have a great day, and I will see you on the interwebs. Okay, bye.
Bye.